I'd say I was actually a soccer player first. I started playing soccer when I was 10 because my parents wanted to get me in a competitive sport because I wasn't doing anything. And so I was a pretty good soccer player, and then when I moved to San Antonio, it was a bigger deal to play volleyball there, and you know, they had middle school tryouts and stuff, and I made A team, I think mostly because I was tall. But after that, I went on to play at O'Connor and loved everything about the program, my coaches, my teammates, and ended up, I stopped playing soccer my sophomore year of high school, for high school anyways, and really got more committed into volleyball, started playing club, and just fell in love with it even more. And I think it was probably my junior year of high school that I realized that I'm too competitive to not be the best, and that's kind of how I've been in every sport that I've ever played. Just that like it's not okay for me to just, you know, be on the bench or to be on the second team, and so I made a second team my 16th year and then worked my way up to first teams and got a lot more competitive.
Well, she actually started off as a soccer player and started playing soccer as a young age, like maybe when she was about 9. And really, I don't think she really started playing volleyball until I think her 6th grade. And that was kind of a disaster. You know, she had kind of a crazy coach, and I didn't think it would go after that, you know, because she just really wasn't enjoying it. But she kind of stuck with it, and she was doing volleyball and soccer at the same time. And I guess after her freshman year in high school was when she really took on volleyball, and you can kind of see the passion for soccer starting to drop out, and then the passion for volleyball really started to come up. She was really playing hard and working hard, and I think she got accepted to one of the top club teams there, and I think that was it from that point on.
The number one thing, if I'm being honest, that pushed me into playing volleyball is that college soccer sounded awful to me. I did not want to play college soccer, and I think it just took me a little bit to realize that I was pretty good and that I could be something better at a competitive level. A lot of my teammates were looking at D1, D2 schools, and at the time I just really wasn't sure what I wanted. But I talked to my 17s coach, and he kind of sat down and talked to me about, like, you know, what division I could play, and the guy told me, you know, small D1, mediocre D2, great D3, and I remember he was naming off top D3 schools. He was like, you know, at the time, WashU was one of the top schools, and he was like, it just depends how far you want to go. He's like, but, you know, you could definitely compete at one of the, you know, upper D3 schools, because he thought I was just, you know, too competitive to go to a real small D1 or D2 school. And so I actually came to UT Dallas for a soccer tournament. We had to register here, and I was talking to my dad, I'm like, this campus is nice. I was like, I'll just email the coach, you know, it's not that big of a deal. And I ended up emailing Marcy, and she was kind of the first coach that I, you know, had strong communication with, and I just ended up loving them and the program, and fell in love with Dallas in general. So
my first memory of Taylour was actually sitting at a tournament. I think it was a tour qualifier in Austin. And she, of course, was the last team playing. All the other courts are finished, and I just had to sit there and wait. And I'm pretty sure it went best of 3, which in club it will do, and I think it might even be best of 5 then. And I just remember sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting for this match to finish. And I was up in the stands with her parents, and then finally, after it ended, I just felt like it was a good decision to hang around and wait. She was a great kid, and whatever I had to do to get her was what I had planned on doing. So from the moment we watched Taylour play, we knew she could be special here for us at UT Dallas, and so we were very excited whenever we got that commitment.
Early on, I cut out out-of-state schools because I grew up as a military kid, and so my parents, you know, I'm okay with leaving my parents, you know, but I've gone a whole year without seeing my parents. They both went to Korea at the same time, and so I just kind of decided, I was like, you know what, I love Texas, I love where I'm living. And that, you know, I kind of put San Antonio in the middle and picked schools, like, and this was kind of one of the furthest out schools that I would pick.
Yeah, that's a tough balance, you know, when you're balancing the military career, because both of us deployed quite a bit. There was a time where we both went to Korea together, so they had to go to, both Taylour and Jordan had to go to hang out with their grandparents for a year.
Well, I got to stay with my grandma in Denver, and so that was really nice. You know, always spending time with your grandparents is nice. And But I'd say the hardest thing that I went through is I went through kind of a behavior mishap where I was kind of like acting out, and I think it's just because I wasn't getting the attention I was used to. And I mean, I'm a loud mouth now, so I can only imagine myself at 10. But the elementary school that I went to, we got like 50 plus grades on a report card, and 20 of them were for behavior, and I would get like all A's and like straight D's in behavior just because I wouldn't shut my mouth. So I think that was the biggest problem for me. You know, they were really significant years and growing up and stuff, and I think not having my mom and dad there was a little hard, but I had really great grandparents, and so it was really nice to stay with them. And my little sister and I got to, you know, grow really close with our grandma and grandpa and my mom's side of the family, so those were all really good aspects.
So that was a tough separation, but we had really good friends and really good family that kind of kept us informed with them while we were gone, or even when one of us was deployed. I mean, we were always able to stay in contact and communicate about, you know, how the sports were going. We kind of always felt like sports was important, especially when you're moving around as a military family. Anytime you kind of go into a new town, you're always the new kid. But if you're going into a sports team, and then you have that immediate bond with some kids, and I think that helped out. I think sports helped a lot.
Growing up in the military was probably one of the best experiences for me. My parents would leave for 3 months at a time, or they'd be gone, and so we'd have to kind of adjust our lifestyle, and although things got hectic, I always felt like it was under control. But at the same time, I think it made us appreciate each other more, so that whenever we did move to San Antonio when I was in middle school, my parents were home for longer parts of time, it was really nice. And so that's why I think at this time, Marcy always makes fun of me and calls me, mommy's girl, but I just love to see my mom and my dad, and so that's why I get really excited when I do get to see them, because like I said, I am okay with this space, but it's always really nice to see your parents.
As my husband has already said, they went to grandma's to live for a whole year, and then we transplanted them into San Antonio and to go, and they adjusted. They adjusted having mom and dad back, but a couple trips to Iraq, a couple trips to the Middle East, they still adjust. One parent, they got to do it.
How hard was that for you?
It's always hard. That's why we retired. Gave them the decision, and the decision was time to stay, so we stayed.
I think both my parents just really inspirational, great leadership qualities, super passionate about what they do, and I think I've gotten all those qualities from them.
Yeah, from the beginning, I've never had an issue with Taylor's parents. Julie and KJ are great. They've always supported us. They had a meal at their house last season when we were down there, and again, going back to the first time I really remember watching Taylor, I was sitting with Julie in the stands waiting for Taylor to finish up, and they've always been really great. We're actually Facebook friends, and she'll comment on my stuff or like my stuff, and she'll send me messages about pumpkin rolls or pumpkin spice latte. She knows I like it. So they are very special parents. No matter whether Taylor was playing or not playing, or how well she was playing, or her role change, they've always been very supportive of Zach and myself and the program and all the other players. So again, I really feel like their entire family, just great personality, great respect, and open and honest. And what you see is what you get. I never felt like anything was going on behind my back. They were always very upfront with me and would communicate with me.
I don't remember Taylor really ever struggling. She was not, if you've talked to her, she's not a quiet kid, and she's always been able to just roll with the punches and just kind of, and I don't know where she gets that. I think a lot of it she got from her mom, because her mom can just sit and walk into a room and talk to anybody. Certainly not for me, because I'm a quiet guy, but I think that's, I don't know, it's just built into her. So I don't ever remember her really struggling too much as far as that she ever told me anyways, or that I saw. She's just always been one of those kids.
I think very similarly to many high school players, they have a tendency to be the best on the teams whenever they get here, and then they come in and they're pretty much about the same level as everyone else. But Taylor was beyond one of the best blockers ever in the program, and I'm pretty sure she has set the record book for that as well. And I remember her coming in for camp right before her freshman year and blocking Jessica Nassau, blocking Jessica Nassau, who had just been an All-American for us the previous season. So that's another memory of mine. But when she came in, she definitely had some growing pains. We teach a lot of volleyball IQ here, and for her, she picked it up pretty quickly, but at the same time, she had to learn the ropes and had some pretty good leaders in that. But I think with her, the word that comes to mind, she was pretty squirrely. And she's starting to see a little bit now with the freshmen that we have, how squirrely she could have been. And she was a little bit more of an emotional player than she is now. So those are probably the biggest things. Skill-wise, she jokes around with me this year that I told her freshman year she would never serve in our program, and I think now she leads our team in aces. So it's nice that she remembers those challenges that I made to her.
College volleyball is 100% different from any other type of volleyball I've ever played. I never understood what a scouting report was. I didn't understand why we would, try and take all this time to watch film and stuff. You play club in high school where you just kind of show up and play games. You know who their best players are. You just show up and play games. And I think that was one of the biggest adjustments for me. And also I came in as a middle, played middle for part of the season, and then ended up moving to the right side. So that was a little different for me. But I wouldn't say playing-wise, it was as hard as because I was still ASC freshman of the year, and those were all really exciting. But I would say just the social aspect, being away from your parents is hard, living by yourself in a dorm, I don't know, all those things kind of build up on you as a freshman, and you'll get in your first meeting, and Marcy's like, you miss home, and you just start bawling, because you're like, of course I miss home, I'm living by myself now. But yeah, it was definitely, I think, a lot of growing up to do, a lot of maturing happened in that year.
And grow and mature she did. Taylour Toso saw her numbers steadily climb each season following her debut in 2011. In 2013, Toso led her team with a program single-season record 477 kills and 104 total blocks, which included 33 solo, also a program record. She averaged 3.34 kills per set while hitting .318 en route to leading her team to a program record 31 wins, highlighted by a 17-1 record in conference play. The Comets would go on to the second round of the NCAA tournament, a feat that helped Toso earn not only the Most Valuable Player award in the American Southwest Conference, but also be selected to the AVCA All-American Second Team, an honor only earned by 4 other players before her in UTD history.
Definitely surreal. I wasn't expecting, I knew I had a great season, but I knew my team had a great season. And, it's always exciting, but I don't know. It was weird to get, that text that was, you're an All-American. You always see these players and they're like, oh, she's a first-team All-American. Like, oh, that's awesome. She's so good. But you never really imagine that's going to be yourself. So to be one of those top players was really awesome experience. But at the same time, I could have had these stats, but if my team wasn't successful, I wouldn't have gotten the award. So I think a lot of it contributed to our team being so successful, making it to the second round of the NCAA. So that was just, I think our whole season was really surreal to have a second opportunity and keep going. So yeah.
I think any parent can attest to that. Anytime you see your kid play well, that's one thing. But you've just always seen Taylour, especially when she was young, what you see is the way she comes up as a leader and the way she kind of always had that drive and that passion to win and to take that other step to be above, I won't say above, but take that step and take that leadership role on and try to push a team. So it's kind of neat to see her personal accolades and everything, but to see her develop as a leader and then see teams seem to kind of rally around her. I think that's probably been the biggest thing. And that's what's going to help her out way out in the future.
As if her success in earning All-American wasn't enough, Toso proved in her final season at UT Dallas that she wasn't through building her legacy as a Comet. In the midst of a tight race to secure a spot in the conference tournament, number 5 not only led her team to a sweep of the then 24th ranked UMHB crew, but she also clubbed her way into the record books. Up 24-14 in the second set, Toso connected on a set from Kayla Jordan, knocking one of her 12 kills on the night and securing a 2-0 lead for the Comets. She also connected on a kill that established her as the new all-time leader in kills at UT Dallas.
I would tell you during my freshman and sophomore year, no. I just thought I was going to be, a role player the rest of my 4 years. But my sophomore year, I remember Dana breaking the record, and I showed her how cool that was for her and how excited we were for her, and how excited she was. And I think after my junior year, my dad kind of told me, he's like, hey, you know, like this is, you know, you could do that, right? You know, you could break that record. And I was like, that's awesome. You know, like if that's where my senior year takes me, you know, I'd love to do it. But I don't think it was ever something that was, you know, in the forefront of my mind. Like I'm coming to UT Dallas to break the record, but it's a super cool accomplishment.
I think one of my favorite memories that's going to stand out for a while, maybe it's just because it's the most recent, is when she beat the kill record. And, you know, we both kind of went to each other and gave each other a really big hug. And, you know, that means a lot to me for that kid. And I was so proud of her to get that. And the funny thing about it at the end, you know, when Dana Hilzendagger broke it, everyone knew. And we were all, get the ball to Dagger, get the ball to Dagger, get the ball to Dagger. And we weren't like that this time. It was like Kayla knew, Taylor knew, but it wasn't about Taylor. You know, it was about the team's success. And again, I think the thing that's going to stick out most for me is she loves the game. She shows that she loves the game while she's playing. So that smile that she has, and letting me and our staff and her teammates celebrate her successes has been great. She's just a wonderful person. There's not enough that I can say about her.
The Comets would go on to finish the season in the only appropriate way in which to send off one of the all-time greats. Showing fierce competitiveness and a desire to win, the Comets fought their way to the finals of the conference tournament, eventually falling to the host team, UMHB. Not a single player held back, and UT Dallas left nothing to regret. They fought, and they played hard, and for their sisters on the court, they left everything they had on the hardwood. It was not a much-desired return trip to the NCAA tournament that Toso had sought, but that changes nothing about the manner in which she and her teammates played. She will be forever remembered as one of the best ever at UTD.
I'd say overall, as an athlete, the number one thing I'm going to pull from is that you can't do anything. You know, you can wake up at 5 a.m. and not go to bed till midnight and still be able to function the next day. And you know, you can't have 3 tests in the same week and, you know, still get A's as long as you put the same effort in. But I would say what I'm going to take away from UT Dallas is probably a leadership skill that I didn't have before I came in here, and a confidence about myself, and just knowing that those are 2 really important things. You know, Marcy and Zach always trying to tell us that it's not just about the volleyball player, it's about being good people off the court, and I think that's something that I've really worked on while I've been here, just kind of not changing my personality, but kind of tweaking it a little bit to make me a little bit more positive and a little bit more grateful for what I have, and I think that's something that I'll definitely take from the program.
You know, I was having a discussion with Taylor and Abby in the training room while Abby was going through her rehab, and Taylor's in there just being the good friend that she is, supporting her and measuring her knee to see how much range of motion she's getting. It came up my favorite players ever in the program, and a lot of the names that I've already named came up, but I will know for sure that Taylour Toso will definitely be one of those players that I'll always name as one of my favorite players to have ever coached, because of her personality and her willingness to be open to our coaching and her teammates and be willing to change for what's best for the team. So I will definitely miss Taylour Toso in our preseason next season and going forward.
No, I think I've always told Taylor everything. We've been very open and honest, and I probably tell her how proud I am of her every single day. I mean, and just, yeah, I've told her many times just how proud I am of her as a leader, as a player, and just as a person, and everything that she's done. I mean, she's dealt with a lot of things in her life, and she comes out on top, and she's an awesome kid. I'm proud dad.
Well, you know, I'm again sitting here in our locker room. One of the things we do are frames of the seniors, and we ask them a favorite quote, and her quote right there says, "It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get back up." And this season's been a little challenging for us in her time here. You know, we haven't walked through the conference, and everything's gotten a lot harder. So I definitely think Taylor is a resilient kid that is very democratic and listens to her teammates and her coaching staff, and very coachable. So I think that's a great quote for her to choose. Is we've been knocked down a few times, but with her here and everything she's been through, just keep getting back up.